All right, guys, here we are, the morning after.
Dude, total chaos.
Unbelievable, guys. Hey, look, right here behind us, beautiful Lake Eufaula. Oh,
favorite lake.
I love this place. This place is awesome, man. Lake Eufaula's back here, and it's a pretty special moment. You know, I'm sitting out here with my buddy J-Dub, and we just got a few rods and reels, and man, this is almost kind of like coffee talk out here on the dock. You know, we legally can't walk out on the dock out here. We're staying right here on the lake, and we're finally out here on the dock. The derby's over. All the secrets are about to be told. So we're letting all.
We tell it all.
We're gonna tell it all
right now
in this video. We're gonna tell us how we caught them. You know, I don't know how he caught them. He don't know how I caught them. But we got our rods and reels out here, and we're gonna dial you guys in.
So I'm gonna start with the champ. The champ's got to start this off like, you know, obviously we had 1 day of practice. 1 day. 1 day of practice to cover this ginormous lake behind us.
Ginormous.
Ginormous.
Oh, this is a big joker, man. All right, so here's the deal, guys. So we had 1 day of practice. I'm gonna tell you kind of how my practice went.
I'm gonna hear it.
90% of my practice was idling, looking, because you got to play into the weather. Like, keep in mind, guys, we had like 2 days to prep and rig rods, and like, you ain't got a lot of map study and all that. I mean, I know Lake Eufaula, I don't really know it near as well as Jacob and all that. I mean, he hoisted a trophy here last year and all, so, but my whole plan was, all right, look, the weather is developing throughout the week. If I had a prediction, you know, we get there, and as fishermen, we always try not to have preconceived notions.
Absolutely right.
Wouldn't you agree?
100%. The key is like when you look at the weather, you always try to prepare for what's to come.
Right.
And fish ahead, you can get in front of the bass a little bit because you want fish that are coming to you. You always hear that. Like, you know, and that's an
coming to me.
They're coming to me. They coming to him.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing though. When you look at the weather, when we literally got when we got on the call, it said, hey, RedCrest was going to be here on Lake Eufaula.
Yep.
And all the stuff that went down in Texas, and they had to move it last minute. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a full moon. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be 70 degrees, warming trend.
Like sight fishing.
Like, we're gonna be looking at them by the end of the tournament. Like, by Friday, it was pretty much in my mind, like, yes, I probably catch them offshore for a few days, but the preconceived notions of me, you know, winning here out there offshore, I'm like, I didn't want to get locked in either.
Yes.
In the same way. So you spend a lot of your time out offshore. My practice was very similar, because this is the thing. In practice, with only 1 day of practice, it's so much easier to go to the bank than to go try to figure it out offshore.
It draws you in.
You can figure, but this is the thing, you could figure out the bank quicker.
Yes.
Because this is the thing, so many things were changing in practice. When we got out there, water temps were like 52.
Yes.
Water's 52 when we
fish
first
are in
launched.
full-blown winter mode.
Pre-spawn winter.
Hard pre-spawn.
And we just had a crazy cold trend, a
Yes.
cold,
Yes.
like, Arctic blast. And so it was like, man, like, in that, for me, like, I caught 1 12-incher in practice, my full day of practice. 1 12-incher. That's all I caught. I caught it on a swim jig, and I was like, I don't think it's going down.
So I idled, like I said, you know, 90% of my day. You know, we had like 12 hours. I probably idled for 10. I know I did.
Yeah.
And when I say idling, you know, I idled. I don't know where you idled. I never even saw you in practice at all on the lake. But I tried to idle the main stretch because you got current. I love fishing current, and in this format, if you find a school of fish, you can get well really quick.
Absolutely.
And you know, I tried to find places like that, a hard place, even if it had spots on it or just somewhere. I love fishing out deep. Well, anyway, I didn't find that, and it was kind of trash. I was like, dang. So I pulled up and I idled over a brush pile on like 8 foot, and I actually seen like 2 on it, and like 8 foot. I was like, and the water was pretty dingy. I was like, huh. Turned around with a spinnerbait. Threw in there, whop, 4-pounder. I went, okay. So then my whole idea was like, all right, this was pretty easy because I had active target.
Yep.
I could pan over there and I'd see it, and it was like elementary. Beep. See my spinnerbait fall down, and I wouldn't even let it hit bottom because I know I'm gonna get hung up. And it's like I let him fall down about where the tip is, and I'm sitting there reeling him, and I see him jet out of it and just eat it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I caught a couple on a spinnerbait. If you guys checked out the video for the practice deal, you saw those. But I didn't really want to go do that. because I knew this tournament was probably going to be one shallow. I thought that.
I 100% thought that as well. I 100%
Dude, it only made sense. It was 80 degrees 3 days in a row.
I know. So fast forward to the first couple days of competition.
Okay.
You know, we had very limited practice. You said you had a pretty decent practice. I only caught one bass. So I'm sitting here like I don't know what's going to go on. Tell me a little bit about what went down, transpired those first couple days.
All right, so here's the deal, guys. We're giving you guys all the nuggets.
The goods.
We're giving y'all the goods. This
we got to give it to them? Come on, EC. I don't know. I don't want to, though.
I'm going to give y'all this, like, I'm giving y'all nuggets.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to give it out. We got to.
All right, it's fair.
We got to give these guys something.
I mean, they are our faithfuls. We truly appreciate y'all, so we got to give you guys some good
It's all
stuff.
I can do not to just cut this interview and go bust one. Anyway, let's go back to the show. All right, here we go.
First couple days.
First couple days. So practice was I didn't really know what I had. You know, I caught one or two doing that, and I didn't want to catch them all, and I marked like 25 places, and I said, all right, well, I'll go run this. So I started fishing brush early. I threw a spinnerbait on like a little hard place, and then I threw it on some brush, and I ended up catching one, like a 4-pounder. I went, so like, yep, okay, here we go, let's keep going. I never had another bite for 6 hours.
And the score tracker was not dinging off.
I had 7 pounds.
I remember this.
I had 7 pounds even, I think, for literally 6 hours straight. And it is, you know, lines in, lines out at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
This is the first day of competition. I had 30 minutes left. I made like a 5-mile run up, and I'm gonna give y'all the name of the creek, Cheney Creek. I ran up to Cheney Hatchie.
He giving up the
I'm giving up Jesse
guys,
Fruit.
come on,
Jesse
God,
Fruit.
I'm not giving y'all that.
I ran up to Cheney Hatchie and I said, all right, I'm gonna run up here and next derby, Jacob being Cheney Hatchie.
No, he will not.
No, he will not. Anyway,
Swimming.
so I ran up there and I said, all right, because I've caught some on swim jig in there. A lot of people fish around that area, barber and all that. So I ran in there and I said, all right, it's hot. The water's temp's rising. Let me go in there swimming jig. Dude, my first grass mat I pulled up to 3-pounder trash it. Catch it. Though literally my next cast, another 3-pounder, and they had red eyes, and I went, huh? And like, and feel you guys, what's red eyes mean?
They're spawning. They're spawning.
They're starting to get up
They're
there.
starting to get up there to spawn. They get the love in their eyes.
So anyway, long story short, I ended up catching 3, and I had like 5 swim jig bites, like 2 non-keepers, and I'm like, dude, they're starting to ease up at this section of the lake. I said, it might go down on Tuesday. Well, on Tuesday, it did not go down. It did not go down. It didn't go down.
You caught that 5-pounder off the giddy, and I was like, God.
No,
that big in
see,
there.
that was like a false hope.
I was like, he got a 5. I was like, dude.
him on a square bill. And I don't even throw square bill.
I swear you, I bet you I've heard DC say square bill, like catching a bass on a square bill.
I don't throw
Never
square
in
bill.
my life, ever.
I don't throw square
You
bill.
caught him on a square bill.
I caught him on a square bill. So I caught him on a square bill.
That's great.
So the only reason I tied the square bill on is there was like a little rock, little point right there, and I said, well, I'm gonna crank going in, and then I'll swim a jig, and then I'll come back out and whatever. Well, right when I like turned the corner, there was this little rock edge that run out, and it had a little deep water around it. And I said, let me throw a crankbait on that. Literally, my first cast, I catch like a 5'11" or something, a big one. Catch him, and I'm like, boom! That's a good start.
Yeah, we're locking in the cut almost.
I caught one more all day. One, a 2-pounder, 2-pound 0-ouncer. I flipped him up in Barber Creek. On and the only mat in there on the right there. Y'all know what mat I'm
The
talking
only
about.
mat. It's
I'm
always giving
giving y'all the
everything.
straight nugs. That
Hey,
one
just
mat
give
on
it
the
all
right.
up. Just give it all.
I'm giving it all up. Here we go. I flipped it. I mean, y'all go in there and catch 2-pounder. Anyway, that mat on the right over there, I flipped him up in there, and I was like, 2 pound. Please be 2 pound. Please be. He was 2 pounds.
2 pounds.
I made the cut in 19th place. And that was my first 2 days of competition. So let's hear yours.
All right, so mine's gonna be a little bit shorter because I don't have all them crazy deals. Pretty much for me, I like to fish freely, and I practiced from the start of competition, running a lot of offshore stuff, whether it was rock, whether it was brush, whether it was hard spots. It just really just toward a combo, you know, whether I was on a spinnerbait, I had a deck full of rods.
Right.
And that was the thing, is like trying to figure out each day. I feel like they constantly change on a body of water. They're always looking for something a little bit different. Maybe you throw like one day they'll bite a swim bait, one day they'll bite a jig or shaky head or something like that.
Right.
So for me, really, it came down to two things. It was a jig. This jig right here, this is like it's actually a 9/16 ounce jig, a little green pumpkin jig. I caught a 5-pounder day one on him. A first bite on a brush pile.
Pretty little boy right
there.
there.
That's like pretty as all
That
get.
is
That's got a good weed guard too. And then I would throw a finesse jig as well. And so these two right here really were the big players for me. 7.3 heavy action, 17-pound suffix line. And that 8:3 to 1 gear ratio, I like a faster gear ratio when I'm throwing a jig because them suckers bite it and use the hook. You have more, you can reel them in a little bit faster.
Right.
So that was pretty much a 1/2 ounce little finesse jig with this is a little crack and crawl, a little small baby crack and crawl, and that's a bandito bug. So those were my 1-2 punch, and I could not get them to bite a swim bait, a spinner bait. I never literally got a bite on spinner bait.
You know what I think them fish were doing the first couple days?
What's that?
Well, we all know that we had a big cold front like ahead of this deal, and then after that it warmed up and the fish had not caught up yet. I think they were swimming, they were in transition in between, because like, dude, I fished deep the first day and I did not catch them. Like they were just, it's like they were leaving those areas, but they wasn't up there yet. I'm swimming a jig, I'm fishing
weird.
Everywhere. I'm going in between. I'm going in, out, in, out, in, out. I'm like, where are they at?
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Did you lay off on them on day one?
No, I caught 2 bass. I literally had 3 bites. I hooked one big one on a crankbait and it come off, and that was it. So
I thought you laid off.
Now this is where things get interesting. Knockout round. Okay, knockout round.
Okay, this is where
it all goes a little bit differently. Yes. So let me hear knockout round. Obviously, we got to make top 5. We were both in the same group. We had to figure something out. I'm pretty much like, at that point in time, like, I'm pretty much committed to the jig. I was catching them pretty good on a jig, but I had a ton of different rods on my deck, swim baits, crank baits, jerk baits, everything that I had, just sort of like constantly trying to figure out. Because this is the thing, with active target, you can literally see the fish in those brush piles, around those hard spots. You can see them. So now you're like, okay, I got to figure out something they'll bite. Yep. So anyway, I want to hear how your knockout round went. I'm going to tell you how mine went.
All right, guys. So I'm going to, before the knockout round, I'm going to give you guys a mentality deal, okay? You got to understand that you're fishing against this group of anglers. They're top notch, okay? You got to analyze what you got. And you gotta see if if I can make this into a winning deal or not. Okay, I know, I've always said this. I know I cannot throw a chatterbait better than Jacob Wheeler. I know I can't skip a jig better than Randall Tharp. I can't go and throw a spinnerbait better than all these other guys. It's very hard to separate yourself fishing shallow unless you have a collision with like a wave of fish in an area. Okay.
Yes.
So like last year I fished the MLF Bass Pro Tour, the one you won, and I literally just found 2 hot pockets, like not the ones you put in a microwave. 2 hot pockets. 2
hot pockets. Like they were real hot.
They were like pockets, like those pockets over there. So they were pockets off the main lake, and I just had I looked up into a couple of pockets. Waves were coming in. They were coming to me. So I had a collision with them. I had a great tournament. Long story short, I did not have no collision with no bass on Tuesday. I had 1 flipping bite. I had 1 lucky crankbait bite. I had done fished up here in this dingy water, but I knew things were changing. The weather was getting warmer. The water was clearing. Cheney Hatchie had cleared. That's why I didn't get no swim jig bites in there the following day and all that. So I was like, okay, I gotta switch this up. So knockout round.
Knockout round.
I know I'm being long-winded, guys.
He loves to go in detail, and that's what I love about you, bro.
No, well, I know I'm long-winded, guys, but I'm just trying to figure out this right here is straight nuggets. So anyway, knockout round.
You're giving the dang details.
So knockout round, I said we're gonna switch it up. These fish are in transition. They're not up shallow yet. They're not out deep. They're in the middle. So I said, all right, I'm gonna run in this dingy. What's this creek called up here?
Patula.
Patula. Anyway.
Patula Creek.
So I said, Patula was like one of the only muddy creeks left on the lake, and I was like, all right, when in doubt, go find some mud. Let it be your friend. So I said, all right, it's dingy. The fish you know, traditionally they have to get shallow when it's dingy. So I go in there and I start fishing around. Well, I catch like a 2-pounder pretty quick on like a spinner bait, and he was in like 8 foot. And I was like, okay, on some brush in 8 foot. Huh. Actually, some like crates or something on the bottom. I found it on spinner bait. I fished shallow and I got lured in. I went in there fishing again, fishing around.
I remember you caught that one pretty early because I'm sitting there and I'm like, and that first period was slow. Van Dam caught a 5-pounder off the get-go. DC caught a 2-pounder and then started the knockout round. And so I'm like, all right, you know, you're always thinking about what the other anglers are doing. Van Dam's like, you know, he's churning and burning for sure. I've not seen him down the lake at all. DC, I don't know exactly what he's doing because that sucker is like, he's either swimming offshore, he's throwing it. You don't know what's going on.
So I caught that one on spinnerbait and I got lured in. I went in there and I'm looking at the water temp and I'm looking at the watercolor and I'm seeing shad flicker. I'm like, dude, it's about to happen. Fish shallow. Dude, I had 1 bass at 10:30. I had that 2-pounder.
But literally only a few people were on Score Tracker though.
Only a few, and it was super slow.
It was slow.
And I was like, all right. I looked over at my camera guy, Rick. I said, Rick, audible, let's go. Audible, we're gone. Cranked up, run down the way, got in some clear water, and I had marked a brush pile down there when I was idling. And
so you literally did a Peyton Manning, Alamo, or what's he call it? Alamo? Is it Alamo or is it Omaha? You just want those.
Yeah, Omaha.
You seen that big coverage?
I said, audible, let's go. Forget this. So I ran down there. I put all the big bright spinner baits and crankbaits and all that up, and I'm literally pulling out like a shaky head and a jig. So I run down there to a brush pile. I idle over it. I actually see a couple fish, and it was in like 10 or 12 foot. And so I turn around and I see the fish on active target, and they were kind of near the bottom of the brush pile, and I said, all right. So I picked up a jig, and I had a bandito bug, Guggen Baits bandito bug on there, and
Blue Baby. Hey, that's my favorite.
That's a really pretty jig right there. I always throw him. 17-pound Seagar and a Summit rod, 7.2 medium heavy. I fired in there, literally like my first cast, and went doink. Can it be? Can it be? I got a bite. I set the hook, boom, reel him in, a 3-pound 8-ouncer. I said, holy crap. Anyway, I had a technical issue with my rod. I set the freaking...
Hey, this time we're going to set the hook hard.
I set the hook so freaking hard, I ain't had a bite in forever. It's like I was tuna fishing. So anyway, so I had a technical issue with the rod. But anyway, we can put that in there if y'all don't want to. I don't matter. Anyway, so I caught that fish, and I immediately saw them still in the brush, and I said, all right. I reached in my box, I pulled out a jerkbait. Okay. Initially, I pulled out I'll tell y'all what jerkbait it was. It was a megabass jerkbait, and it was a regular running jerkbait. Like, it did not run deep or nothing. I fired it out there. I seen it on active target. I reeled it down, and it was on like 10 foot. Started jerking, and I seen 2 of them swim up. And I said, oh my gosh, that's a couple big ones. And then I seen this other little guy come up and eat it, and I was like, and I catch a 1.5-pounder. I went, huh. And that's when the light bulb went. Just like that. I left there, I couldn't get in the bite, I ran to the next pile. I literally have had this, the biggest community pile on the lake. It's down there off of a point. Fired in there, I catch a 311 on that jerkbait. And I went, okay. Wheels are starting to turn. Long story short, guys, knockout round. I did that the rest of that evening. The sun came out, they started biting. I got very fortunate the last part of that day. I pulled up on another community pile, fired in there, and I caught a 3.8 and like a 3.2. Made the cut. I had 45 minutes to idle. I literally idled every little nub down the way down here in that same little area. I found everything that I could in 45 minutes, and we just got our fingers crossed for championship day.
Gosh.
Okay. That was the plan.
This is so crazy about this whole thing. So that first period knockout round, I caught 0 bass. 0. I pull up on a place that I caught a 4-pounder the day before. Okay, on a jig. And I roll over to there, and with that target, you can literally see the bass out there a lot of times. You'll see them, if they can hide a little bit, but if they're big, you see the blob and a blimp. So I look over there and I see that, and I'm like, man, it's slick, it's calm, it's sunny, the water's cleaning up. And I'm like, man, I've not been able to get them to bite a jerkbait. I've had a couple follow it out throughout the tournament because the water's real clear. I'm fishing down towards the dam. Yeah. The water's the clearest water down that way.
I never seen you all day.
Just see, like, I was down that way, and so like I pulled up on a sneaky little place, and I pulled out and I threw that jerkbait in there. I reeled it down. I set the snap, and I could see it, and all of a sudden I went to snap, locked up. This is like the start of period 2. I've not caught a bass. DC's caught one. There's like 4 guys on the score tracker. 5-pounder. I throw back out there. I see another one. I jerk down and catch a small one, like a 112, 115.
You said,
and I went, ding, ding. Okay, so that's when I literally, and then I went to the next, pile, caught a 2-pounder. Then I went to a rock row and I started smashing them. And I was catching
on a jerkbait.
On a rock row. Yes, because I'd pull them off it and I'd watch them. And so then I was like, but this is the thing. There was a big tournament here the championship day. And so because of all that was going down, I knew in the back of my mind I could run everything that I had and probably wreck them today. But I stayed on the banks trying to jerk down banks because I didn't want to give it away on live. I didn't want to give it 100%. I stayed on that one place, tried to catch every one of them there because I knew I probably wasn't going to get on stuff. And so I didn't want to give it up.
I was on live straight giving up.
See, you were giving up juice.
Juicy fruit.
I was not.
I was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be 78 boats out here throwing jerkbaits on this stuff.
Literally.
I'm being like super, like, I never saw a tournament boat in my knockout round. Okay, that was the 3rd day we were against 10 boats. We had to make top 5. Jacob was in my group. I never saw a tournament boat. So I caught them fish and I was just like, oh my gosh, could I be this lucky? Because that's very rare. I said, man, could I be this freaking lucky? There were some locals in and out of there, but I caught them fish and I did not know what I had. I had no clue, guys. I mean, I didn't. I literally just found the freaking piles in the tournament. You know what I mean? And so let's fast forward to championship day.
I want to hear it. Show me what you did.
Oh my
Obviously,
gosh,
you guys. I want to hear from Sizzle on the name. Sizzle. This is so good.
All right, guys.
Doinked him for 300K.
All right, guys. I'm gonna keep this like kind of short and sweet.
Yep.
All right, so
let's talk a little bit about that active target. Talk a little bit about your setup. Let's talk
about active target. Okay, active target is very new with Lowrance.
So there's live scope, there's active target, but we both have active target.
Both have active target. I literally have had this for 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And I have spent every day, guys, every day I can. My cameraman's back there, and he's been with me. You know, we've been filming, and we literally just posted a video, and I was using the active target and all that. But anyway, so I'm very, I guess you'd say, fluent with it. I mean, I really understand it.
You understand graphs in general. There's only a few people that I feel like as professional anglers that truly get. Not everybody gets it.
A lot of it has to do with settings and all of that, too.
You get it. Like, there's people that use it to their advantage to the fullest, and DC has 100% always been one of them.
So, like, active target, I've literally spent countless hours out there. I mean, you guys, I've been out there in 35-degree weather just, like, learning that active target, because that is a huge play. You got to be on top of your game. And lo and behold, we're at Lake Eufaula, you know, championship day, and I have a plan set, and I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna throw something I really love throwing. And I caught them on a deep diving jerkbait here, and
what pound line?
12-pound Seaguar line. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all. I don't know what you throw on there, Jacob, but I'm gonna tell y'all what I throw.
I'll break mine down here.
So this is 12-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon. I like 12. I used to throw 15.
Okay.
I used to throw 15, but 12 to me gets the bait down there a little better, a little bit deeper. It lets that bait suspend a lot more, okay? Heavier line may make it float up, may make it sink. 12 is like a perfect median for this jerkbait. And yeah, I mean, y'all see the jerkbait I was throwing. Now, this is a deep version. You know, crystal shad in color. A big deal with a jerkbait, a 6-3-to-1 reel for me.
Really? You like to slow them?
I like a 6-3. Do you throw a 7?
I throw an 8. I throw an 8.
Totally different. Okay. The only reason I like a 6-3-to-1 reel. Okay, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna stand up, guys. I'm gonna cast right over you and hook you. So when
don't catch them all now.
So when I throw this jerkbait out there, when I reel, it's just got a good cadence for me.
Yep.
See, when I reel and I jerk, it's a good cadence.
I see what you're saying.
So I can go bop, bop, bop. And
oh, there's a big one right there.
There was a big one. No. So like that for me, that's what I throw. Everybody's stuff's different. That's a favorite Rush 6.6 rod, jerkbait rod. I really like that rod for very tight, close corners. You know what I mean? So you can cast it really easy. It don't have a ton of backbone, but I can throw that jerkbait a long way with it. So it's a really good rod. This guy right here's having a heck of a day.
He's chopping.
He's out here chopping, having a good time.
So this is the thing. I want to hear the. Obviously, you guys, a lot of you saw what went down on the final period. Things got super close. We actually went back and forth. I was in first for a second, then Burkes was in second, and then Burkes was leading, and then all of a sudden DC pushed out into the lead in the second, and
when
I was like,
you got ahead. I said, here we go.
I was thinking, I was like,
he's about to dump the gas on top. I knew it. He was about to.
I was trying.
No. No, I was like happy for you, but I was like, he's about to hoist again. Oh god.
It was
we're always pulling for each other.
We 100%. Like, dude, even though like you got me down by 11 pounds, I'm like, DC, catch another one, because I'm like, I need to catch 5 more for every one you catch.
No,
I was like, I want you to be up there.
You can't never count this sucker.
No.
Ever. I was really worried about him more than anybody. So like, you're like pulling for your buddy, you're just like,
please don't catch me.
Please don't catch me. It's a pretty awesome little deal. So anyway, long story short, guys, I caught him on that jerkbait. I caught him on that jig. And I caught, I brought this shaky head out here for you guys.
You catch one on a shaky head?
Yeah, I weighed one on him.
Did you?
I weighed one on a shaky head yesterday, and it was a 2.2, I think. Very valuable.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
that's a Slim Shake. And
Guggenbait
Slim Shake with a 3/16 ounce head, 10-pound line, hex rod. But like when I would see those fish in there, I would see multiple fish in there, and one would come up and eat it. And after you caught one, they got kind of funky.
Absolutely.
They were kind of like, yeah, we don't know about this no more. So I fired that shaky head in there. You always try to clean up. That's a cleanup bait for you. So I ended up catching one on that. That was a very important deal. But that's how I caught it.
That's how you won 300 G's.
On a jerk bait, throwing it, 12-pound line. The brush I was fishing was in 6 to, I would say 5 to 8 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, connected to the bank. It had to be connected to the bank. These fish are staging up, okay? We can edit some of this stuff too. I don't want to be really long-winded.
It's fine. Yeah, we got it.
What would you think, okay, we all know what those fish were doing, staging up. Do you think they had already been there or not?
I think a lot of it was that what happened was it got so warm so quick that they could. I think some of them were already up there, and then they dropped back down, like, so they got so cold. Remember, like it was warm. They looked like they were spawned out. Absolutely
weird.
And that was the thing. So like for me, like I caught them on a jerkbait the last day. I had like 7 jerkbaits tied on them, right? And I could not get them to react to anything.
I don't have that many reels.
I literally had like 7 jerkbaits tied up. I did. And so I wasn't like exclusively fishing brush. I'd fish hard spots, and I actually caught a few on bait. Like where I'd see them out in the middle and I would just pull them up.
On active target.
Yes, 100%. So that was my thing. But see, I switched it up because I wanted a painted one, which I was like, DC, had one. I would throw a painted jerkbait with a shallower lip. This is a Loco Special 110. It's like 3 to 5 foot diver on 14-pound line because I wanted them to stay shallower. And I actually caught my biggest one on this bait right here. This is called Natty Light. I caught him right here up in 2 foot of water. 2 foot of water. Natty Light.
Natty?
Natty Light.
Like Natty Light?
Natty Light.
Natty Light.
It's called Natty Light. I love that.
Hey, Richard, you a headache.
Yeah, literally. Hey, don't get too many of them now. So that was the one I would throw super shallow. And I caught probably over half my weight on points and hardcover like rock, jerking this jerkbait right here.
Okay.
Then, if it got flat, calm, and still, I would throw this guy, a clear, translucent. And this is actually a new color that they have. I would throw him a little bit.
That's pretty.
And then I also had a deeper diver in that Loco Special. And I put and the thing that I like about the Loco Special is the deeper diver. This is one that runs like 7 feet. Like, so a Mega Bass, very similar to Mega Bass, but it had this one right here. I could put bigger hooks on and it not sink.
That's the big deal.
That's a huge dang deal. All right, so I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Top 3, come to find out, all 3 of us were throwing a jerkbait, and this is the big thing. I think Michael Neal's using Garmin. Both DC and I are using Active Target. And you guys have seen, if some of you haven't saw the video that I did with Garmin versus Lowrance, Panoptics versus Active Target. This is the thing, Active Target, you've run both.
Yes.
Active Target is not as crisp as Garmin, but you can see way further.
I can see my bait further.
Advantage to that.
I can see my bait further. I can see the brush pile further. I can see the fish further, and that allows me to slow down. Keys, like other things other than baits. Everybody wants to know about baits and all technical. Yes. Where's you catching baits? Rolling up to that brush pile too fast, and you blow it out, you ain't catch nothing.
Yep.
But seeing exactly how far away it is, knowing if the fish are there or if they ain't, throwing in there, seeing if you have a fish come up after your bait. I'm literally setting the hook before they even bite it because I'm seeing them.
Dude,
I'm like, he's about to eat it. He's about to eat it.
When they get to this, here's a fish, and here's your bait. And it's like, it goes like this, and then all of a sudden they go, and they go together. That is like,
it's game on. Without that this week and not seeing those two fish react to my deal down here, I wouldn't have won this tournament. Yep. I'm just telling y'all, the Active Target, the forward-facing stuff is the next biggest thing since sliced cheese.
Sliced bread.
Sliced cheese and bread, whatever you call it.
And you want a whole bunch of cheese.
So that's a really big deal, guys. And it was really cool to see how the tournament progressed as it went on. Because all this was straight mud.
It was. It was stained up.
Tournament. Had no freaking clue that I was going to throw a jerkbait, and it was a pretty cool deal seeing you. I literally thought I was the only person in the whole freaking field throwing a jerkbait, and I was like super quiet and sneaky. Like I wouldn't even go near nobody, local or nothing. I was like, I don't want nobody seeing this. Low key, I got people on live watching it.
100. That's what I was saying. Like,
I was like, literally, shh, don't let him see. Don't let him see.
Like literally, when I saw like Burkes, and I saw like Michael Neal. I would not fish places because they were right there.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I did not want to. Like you, I would not. You literally turn around. I see you turn around.
Championship day. Y'all don't know this. Y'all do not know this. This is some funny stuff.
But this is how you have to play the game.
You have to play the game. 100%. I love Jacob just as much as anybody else. I roll around the corner of an island down this way. As soon as I roll around the corner, I see Academy boat. And he's literally like 80 yards from me, and there's like a place over here I want to fish. I have not seen Jacob all day long. I have not seen him.
I've been further down.
Yeah, I ain't seen Jacob in like 3 days.
I was further down.
So anyway, I roll around the corner, I see Jacob, and the first immediate reaction was, I don't want to show him what I'm throwing. I don't care if he knows where I feel like. If he sees me,
me on a big play.
Yeah, but
that wasn't the deal.
It's pretty obvious when you're sitting here going, yeah, we throw my jerkbait, you know. So I was just like, I ain't showing him this.
I thought he'd turn around. I was like, dude, that was weird. My DC just turned around.
I did not want to show
I'm like, maybe he wanted to get on this place with like, because there was fishing this deal like right next to these like cypress trees, and I remember you caught one there in your video last time. I was like, maybe you wanted to go around them cypress trees.
No.
And there it was. We went into third place, first, $300 and almost $50,000 on this lake this week.
Crazy.
Unbelievable, bro. Congratulations.
Hey, good job to you, too, man.
I had a good event.
Place. That is not nothing to joke about.
I'm happy. Hey, listen, I'm 100%.
You won 50 grand.
I did 100%. It was a phenomenal week. Guys, listen, do me a favor. Freaking, if you guys are not following my man DC on social, on his YouTube channel, this will also be on his YouTube channel.
Y'all follow my man J-Dub.
Hey, help me congratulate this son of a gun. Help me congratulate him.
Thank y'all, man.
Hey, put that thumbs up. It's so good. We out of here.